Housing development progress. Number one and the best. Housing development progress. Number one. Number one. Housing development progress. Number one and the best. Housing development progress. Number one. Housing development progress. In Nigeria. Housing development progress. In Africa. Housing development progress. And the globe. Number one. Housing development progress.
Rapid population growth, urbanization, and economic development have posed significant challenges to the housing sector in Nigeria. With a population of over 200 million, the demand for affordable housing has reached an all-time high. The lack of affordable housing has several negative consequences, including homelessness, overcrowding, and slum formation. It also harms the economy as it reduces productivity and increases crime rate. Welcome to another informative episode of Housing Development. As always, I am your housing diva, Lami.
The indigents of FCT have urged the minister, Nyesom Wike, to be more transparent in the allocation of land within the area. Speaking under the aegis of concerned FCT citizens and civil society groups, the locals sought investigation of land allocation since the immediate past governor of Rivers State assumed the office. The convener, Daniel Okwa, queried exemption of the FCT Treasury single account policy and reported 5 million naira payment for a certificate of occupancy CFO. The Minister of Housing and Urban Development, Architect Ahmed Musa Dangiwa, has said that a comprehensive plan and efforts are underway to complete all abandoned housing units under the National Housing Program of the last administration. Dangiwa disclosed this during a courtesy visit by the Housing Development Advocacy Network HDAN in Abuja recently. Speaking with members of the advocacy, Dangiwa stated that the ministerial committee is reviewing and rescoping the contracts of the abandoned sites as appropriate to assess both the technical and financial capacity of the contractors to ensure only those that are capable proceed with the project. Experts and stakeholders in the housing sector have tasked the government to take a pragmatic approach in driving housing development in Nigeria. Speaking on the sidelines of the just concluded Lateef Jakonde lecture in Lagos, foremost housing advocate and media mogul Festus Adebayo tasked the government to emulate the pragmatic approach that was adopted by former Lagos State Governor Lateef Jakonde to drive housing development in Lagos. The Commissioner for the Environment and Water Resources in Lagos, Tokunbo Wahab, has given owners of illegal buildings in various areas 7 days to comply with the contravention notice. The notice affects properties on Orchard Road, Agungi, Ajiran, Conversation Road, and Osapa along the Kota River. This was disclosed by the Director of Public Affairs, Kunle Adeshina. Adeshina mentioned that the declaration was made following an inspection tour of the Kota River corridor by the Commissioner, alongside the Special Advisor to the Governor on Environment, Olakunle Rotimi Akudu.
For more housing, finance, and construction news, do well to visit www.africanhousingnews.com. The Honorable Minister of Housing and Urban Development, Architect Ahmed Musa Dangiwa, has given his 3-month performance report during the visit of the Board of Housing Development Advocacy Network HDAN, the leading Nigerian civil society organization on housing. Take a listen.
The Honorable Minister of Housing and Urban Development, Honorable Ahmed Musa Dangiwa, has given 3 months performance report during the visit of the Board of Housing Development Advocacy Network, HDAN, the leading Nigerian civil society organization on housing.
So it has been 3 months now since that day. I'm happy to inform you that we have prioritized all this concern in our action plan, because I know that I remember that day you said that you promised to track my performance. And so I wish to report that I'm now giving my performance report. The first one is on data, where we are making a lot of progress. In our first month of office, we held a formal meeting with the National Population Commission, the whole organization, to kickstart this process, whereby as a ministry, we have set up a task force that is actively working with the Commission to design the survey instruments that will help address the housing-related questions during the upcoming population and housing census. I'm pleased to inform you that from our technical sessions with them, National Population Commission, so far, we can say that census survey framework matches our own needs, and the conduct of the next census will help to solve the problem of the housing data program. We have gone further to write to Mr. President about our engagement, but we're seeking for his own approval to conduct the census because of its significance to our objective of establishing this actual housing deficit. So we have gone far on that. To ensure that also the housing agencies under supervision of the ministry are optimized to deliver on our target of affordable housing homes to Nigerians, we have composed a housing reform team of experts, stakeholders, including HESDAN as the major stakeholders. We want HESDAN representatives in each of our committees that we want to set up, that we have set up. We are including even the agency representative, professional bodies, academia, to develop a robust framework to reform the housing sector, including the review of the relevant laws and facilitation of necessary legislative amendments. This includes the Land Use Act, the NHF Act of 1992, the FMBN Act 1993, the Housing Authority Act 1973, the PENCOM Act for increased investment in housing, and also driving the nationwide passage and adoption of this mortgage foreclosure law.
He highlighted some of the achievements of his ministry, such as the completion of 1,000 housing units in 10 states, the launch of the National Social Housing Program, the establishment of the National Housing Fund, and the signing of a Memorandum of Understanding with the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria, FMBN, to provide low-interest loans for prospective homeowners.
We are also on the verge of going into the renewed hope cities and estates, which is always on the rise. So that's why we thought that renewed hope cities and estates will seek to deliver this because they have inclusivity at their core. Phase 1 of the project aims to deliver 34,500 housing units, ranging from 1,000 units per site in one location in each of the 6 geographical zones of the country, including FCTA. We also intend to do the housing estates in every state government in the remaining 30 states of the Federation.
HDAN commended the minister and the FMBN for their achievements and urged them to do more to address the housing deficit in the country.
It was a very interactive meeting where we exchanged ideas because we have a common objective, and that objective is to see how we can provide housing for Nigerians and at the same time use the mechanism for housing provision to create employment for Nigerians, to create multiplier effect in the country. And we were pleased to note that the same aspirations we had in mind were the same things that the minister was doing.
We have an honorable minister that obviously is part of HDAN. He understands the issues, and with his with the speech that he has given, the feedback he has given, we understand that he has an understanding of all the issues that we've raised earlier, And he's also implemented, or not implemented, but actually he's been able to, as a visionary, he's been able to set out solutions, innovative solutions to those problems.
And you can see that in just 3 months, they've taken major steps in trying to fulfill the items that we have put on that agenda. So we're very optimistic, and we've also extended our hands of collaboration and fellowship with him. We're going to support him, and we'll continue to track the performance, and we'll work with him to ensure that we deliver.
The Minister of Housing and Urban Development, they're highlighting some of the achievements of his ministry. Now moving on, the FCTA Minister, Barrister Nyesom Wike, recently reduced the cost of CFO, Certificate of Occupancy for Abuja plots, from 5 million to 3.5 million naira, which he maintained is a flat rate for all sizes of land, regardless of the location of the land in the FCT. Do you think this recent development is fair to landowners in Abuja, considering the fact that all plots are not of the same size and same location? Let's watch Abuja residents react to these on Voices on the Streets.
You don't expect the rich to pay almost the same amount than the poor people. Somebody who managed to even build a house, not worth up to 3 million, living in Kubwa. There are some houses people are living. They struggle to build these houses. Some spend 3 million, 4 million, 5 million, and you're expecting them to pay flat rate of 2.5. While somebody is living in a house of billions of naira, it's not right. My take is that it's not right. It's not. There is no equity to that, and there is no justice to that. What the government should do, government should be able to assess each building, value these properties, and fix a percentage. You can say, okay, maybe you can say 10% for all the houses based on the value of the property. If you go to Metama, you value a property, you can say, okay, 15%, all the property in Metama, based on the value of the property. There's some property worth 1 billion. So if you to pay 15% as the tenement rate, then those who are living in Kubwa too, you value their property. If their property worth 10 million, they pay 15% of 10 million. So I think that is the way I look at it. These people should pay based on the value of this property.
For Minister to make the flat rate of 3.5 for every landowner in Abuja is a very good one to help people to get authentic land. But because of this issue of CFO, high, expensive, and to obtain it is very difficult. Many people are losing their land. They are buying fake land. Many are buying land that are not genuine. But with this it's very easy to process the land, the original certificate documents of the land, and know that this is my land. And this land, in future, it can be secured. For security of the land is very fine thing. Minister tried.
As a property owner in Abuja, I think it's a good news for us that we can get our CFO individually. And you know what CFO means to a property owner. It is a very good thing. But generalizing or unifying the price is where I differ with the minister. Because the property value of a house inside Abuja, you can't compare it with somebody that is in Kuje, or somebody that is in Lugbe, or somebody that is in Jikoi. So there should be market value. They should base the payment of a CFO on land on market value and not on the equal rate.
How can somebody is living in Kubwa will face something with somebody living in Maitama? There is difference now. There is more difference now. Maitama is better than this Kubwa. You cannot compare Maitama and Kubwa. And this minister is supposed to look for these issues now. Any place that is better than this place, you cannot pay the same price with the good one and the bad one. That is how life is now. So we need minister to look for this problem, and we want him to revalidate these issues, inshallah, by God's grace.
Reactions from FCT residents on the flat rate of the cost for the issuance of certificate of occupancy. Right after the break, the chairman FCT chapter of the Nigerian Institute of Town Planners will be here to analyze this issue with me. Stay with Housing Development. Welcome back. The program is still Housing Development. Before we went on that short break, I did say that the chairman, FCT chapter of the Nigerian Institute of Town Planners, will be joining me right here in the studio. And she's right here with me. She's town planner Lami PK Ayuba. Good to have you here in the studio, madam.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so now let's discuss the issue on ground, the issue of and the cost of the issuance of a CFO. The FCT minister recently reduced the cost of CFO from 5 million to 3.5 million for Abuja plots of land, regardless of the location, and it's a flat rate. Do you think this is fair to landowners in Abuja, considering the fact that all plots of lands are not of same sizes and same location?
Yeah, let's start with how they calculate CFO, cost of CFO for land in Abuja initially. What happens is that they assess it, they calculate it based on the size of land, the district, the location, and the land use. So there's a rate per square meter. So depending on that land use, that district, like some rates are 8,000 per square meter, some are 6,000, some are as low as 1,000 square meter. Also depending on whether that area is serviced with infrastructure or not. Those are the terms on which they calculate CFO initially. So it is basically rated differently. But this one that the minister proposed or has mandated to be done basically applies to estates. I have been speaking with my members and the key persons in these areas to really clarify the issue, because apart from you, a lot of people have been calling me to find out what is this 3.5 million, what is this 500. The minister is not fair. Somebody has 200 square meters, he will pay 5 million. Somebody has 1,000 square meters or 2,000, he will pay 5 million. What is not fair? Somebody is in Maitama, somebody is in Kubo, somebody is in Kadu, somebody is in Karu, and then somebody has an estate residence that is occupying 200 square meters on the second floor or on the seventh. It cannot be the same. So for some reasons based known to the minister, he has started addressing the issues associated with mass housing, estate developers, and those are the people he's targeting and he has been meeting with. So for now, I have asked the people in charge, the department in charge of calculating CFO, issuing CFO, does it apply to everybody, or who does it apply for? Is it a flat rate? For now, I got the information that it only applies to mass housing development. That's most of these estates and all that stuff. So far, this is what the information I have.
Okay, you have a reliable information that is just for mass housing and not what Abuja resident has been thinking.
Yes.
So even if you have a house in Maitama, 1,000 square meters plot of land, and a man in Kuje or Kobo has just 500 square meters, you don't pay the same. It's just for mass housing.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
If you notice, he started with estate developers, and then when you go through his broadcast that mentioned all this, later they will go into area council plus, they will go into other plus. And recently I read from his statements that those that even have CFO, they can recertify it for a fee. That fee is not as much as this one, so it doesn't apply to everybody.
Okay, and there's this issue, the FCT minister also said that the new CFO will require a national identification number, which is a NIN, and the bank verification number. Now, what benefits will this be to, how will this benefit the housing sector?
Yeah, it will really give somebody a title, that's number one, and it will give you a document that will enable the person to access mortgage, access funding for it, and then to also expand the housing and make it more stable. One of the biggest issues is that most people that access housing, one, I think before they even issue the CFO, they probably need to really verify the legitimacy of that allocation. So it helps the owner of these properties to really calm down and feel a kind of relief that at least I have a legitimate document, I have a legitimate house that will not come and be bulldozed or be cleared by the same government. The government have identified me as genuine on this plot.
All right. So thank you so very much, Tpl Lami, Ayuba, for your time on the program. Really appreciate it.
I've been speaking with Tpl Lami Ayuba, says the chairman FCT chapter of the Nigerian Institute of Town Planners. Right after the break, another professional, the national president of the Nigerian Institute of Town Planners, will be in the studio to discuss the issue of CFO. Stay with Housing Development.
It's good news. Are you a stakeholder in the built environment, or you are looking for an authentic, credible source for housing and construction news in Africa? You now have an opportunity. Africa International Housing Show has now created a unique opportunity for you by establishing a full-fledged housing television, the first of its kind in Africa. You can now access information on home ownership, rental, building materials, finance, real estate and insurance, among others, all on Housing TV Africa, channel 149 on StarTimes.
Welcome back. You're still watching Housing Development. With me in the studio is Tpl Nathaniel Atebije. He is the national president of the Nigerian Institute of Town Planners. Good to have you in the studio, sir.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure being here.
All right. So the issue on ground right now, the one that has been causing mixed reactions amongst Abuja residents, is the cost for the issuance of CFO. You know, the FCT minister just reduced the cost from 5 million to 3.5 million, a flat rate for the issuance of CFO. So what is your take on this? Because it's causing mixed reaction. A man that has 1,000 square meters plot of land is paying 3.5 million naira, same as the man that has just 200 square meters.
Yeah. First of all, we always want to appreciate the FCT minister because of his doggedness and his intention to put things right within the city and overall administration of the Federal Capital Territory. And I think it's making some good efforts, good steps, and coming up with some nice policies. The one of paying for CFO is part of one, making properties of owners within the city more bankable, giving them greater security, and ensuring that the right development is done at the right time. If somebody has 2,000 square meters, he cannot pay the same as 1,000 square meters because the consultant surveyor will ask you to pay. We have fixed fees for each unit of space. So that is what I think, that all of them cannot cost the same. But again, on the other side, in terms of marketability or looking at it from the angle of the estate surveyor, there are areas in the city that are highbrow, while there are areas in the city that are just normal and ordinary. For example, the central area is highbrow, is the first class, commercial development area of the Federal Capital City. And then you have sector centers, you have district centers, you have neighborhood centers. These are commercial and institutional development areas within the city. But you also have residential areas. There are those that are highbrow, and there are those that are just simple and ordinary. For example, Maitama and Asokoro. Even by telling anybody that you are in Maitama or you are living in Asokoro, your class changes. And so people should also be able to accommodate such, in the overall cost, so that the person in Maitama is not paying 3.5 million, and then the person who is in Lugbe or person who is in Lokogoma will be paying the same thing. It will look as if there is no fairness or equity in terms of the distribution of these fees. This is what I think, that it cannot be a flat rate.
Okay, so you're saying the fee is not being fair on landowners in Abuja.
The fee, no, not being fair on landowners. Let it be distributed equitably so that there is some level of fairness.
Okay.
Yes, that we cannot pay the same thing all across the city.
Yes.
The cost of land, the price of land, and the pride of land in Maitama is different from what you have in Lokogoma.
Yes.
So what you pay in Lokogoma should be higher. In fact, even the services you have in Lokogoma cannot be compared with what you have in Maitama or Sokoro. So in such a case, we cannot pay the same fee.
All right, I've been speaking with Tpl Nathaniel Atebije. He is the national president of the Nigerian Institute of Town Planners. Don't go away, I'll be right back. Welcome back. You're watching Housing Development. Thanks for staying tuned. It's countdown to Africa Housing Awards 2023. Join us at the African Housing Awards as we honor the trailblazers and visionaries shaping the future of housing in Africa. Be a part of it on the 17th of December 2023 at the Abuja International Conference Center, Nigeria. Now here's a quick one from the organizers.
This is a good development. It's something that we encourage others to look forward to annually, and I hope they're able to sustain this. And as a senator, I will see how we can give support to them in the Senate so that they can go ahead to improve housing in Nigeria.
I feel happy and also feel challenged in the sense that this is asking for more work, because you are doing the work and people are seeing you and they are recognizing you. What is this that you doing on that? So I want to thank the organizers for finding me working for this award.
That is the much I can bring on today's program. Join me next week for another informative episode. As always, I remain your housing diva, Fleur Arnett. Do have a lovely day.